Okay, so let's go ahead and call to order the regular meeting of Lake Worth CRA for Tuesday, December 14th. Emily, would you like to call the roll?
Ms. Carla Blockson.
Here.
Ms. Leah Birch.
Here.
Ms. Caroline Kamshi-Basha.
Here.
Mr. Drew Bartlett is not present. Mr. Brendan Lynch, also not present. And Mr. Brent Whitfield.
Here. Thank you, Emily. So with that, the next item is Pledge of Allegiance. I believe there's a flag behind this diva artwork.
Oh, yeah.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think any photographs of that will show our commitment to the arts, so that's good. Moving on, item number 3, agenda additions, deletions, or reordering. Does anyone have any thoughts on reordering the agenda or adding anything? Fellow board members? No? Okay, that's good. So now public comment on non-agenda items. So open up the floor for public comment on the items that aren't on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. First item is the minutes from the August 10th meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from August 10th?
Move to approve.
Motion by Leah,
Second.
second by Carla. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And now the September 14th meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to
Move to approve.
Motion by Leah, second.
Second.
Second by Caroline. So we've got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. All right. Presentation agenda. So I see we have United Hands for Global Impact Incorporated. Please introduce yourself and your address or affiliation, I guess.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Frederick James. I'm the CEO and president of United Hands for Global Impact. We're a 501c3 nonprofit community development investment vehicle positioned to finance public and private development projects in a way that positions the residential and commercial taxpayers as the investors in these projects. Simply put, we position the municipalities we partner with to develop their public projects to receive the ROIs, the return on investments, to be used to help assist with funding public development needs like affordable housing, infrastructure, and public facilities, libraries, city halls, police stations. Traditionally, these tools have always been used as a conduit to the government to issue tax-exempt financing on bonds to finance these types of facilities. But since we are experiencing so many public needs, like our housing, affordable and workforce housing needs, I think that the best way to really assist the public in these types of initiatives is to lock in the interest from financing those types of public projects and reinvest them in the community, opposed to letting private investors come in and take all of the resources out of the community. There are substantial projects throughout Palm Beach County that I feel we should universalize these initiatives opposed to individualizing them, meaning each city is suffering from affordable housing or some kind of infrastructure needs. And to come together to unite for this particular cause, we could bring a more socially acceptable solution and position those returns to go towards public needs like our education system and some social needs that are throughout the community. These types of organizations have always been positioned or created ahead of these types of projects. The only modern twist to what we position with our organization with issuing the debt on behalf of a municipality is to just lock in that interest to be reinvested back into the community.
Okay, could we have
So Frederick had talked to the city commission and they actually asked that he come and talk to us. So, you know, I thought maybe if we got a little, you know, background, what you have in your packet and, you know, from what Frederick said, you know, a little bit more information on kind of other ways to do redevelopment financing. And maybe it's something that we can discuss with when we have our joint meeting with the city commission for some of the projects that we know we want to do, for instance, affordable housing.
Knowing that Lake Worth is a city that is restricted with height, and which is, you know, it could cause some discrepancies or some things that won't favor financing affordable housing. This initiative or this vehicle allows the city to take advantage of opportunities outside of that boundary and position those returns to assist with funding those needs without having to go against those restrictions. Cause like an uproar in the community, you know. So alternative way to finance these projects using the traditional tools, just opening up or expanding the boundary.
Very interesting.
So do we have questions from the board? Carla?
Do you have any other projects that you've done in the past that we would be able to look at?
This is my startup, my first project right now. I'm on the pre-development phase in Delray Beach. I was donated 2.5 acres. A church owns the property, and that's another resource we're bringing to the community. We assist private property owners in developing their properties or maximizing their property's potential without having to lose ownership. Prior to United Hands, the creation of United Hands Global Impact, private property owners were only being offered selling their properties. And so we educate the community about creating generational wealth for themselves opposed to selling their properties. Pastor Johnson was the first church that signed on to allowing my concept to be used for his property, and we're in the pre-development phases on that right now.
And how do you think that the homeowner who's isn't used to having generational wealth may not have the resources? What do you offer as far as them? Do you have any grants? Do you have any private funding other than locking in the interest rate? Is there some other avenue that you would be able to assist them?
Yes, now partnering, that's the main reason we need to partner with the municipality, because then we can go after the grant funding that's positioned on the local, state, and federal levels, but also the private financing that's available for organizations that are looking for the tax credits for investing inside opportunity zones or in public projects. Since affordable housing, workforce housing is a substantial market, a public market right now, there are investors that are willing to contribute to those causes. And we assist those homeowners as their voice, right? We know a lot of people can't articulate financing or their needs, but we assist them by doing so, being that voice for them, representing them on their behalf.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? So in the Delray model, the property is currently owned by the church or the city?
The church, yes.
And so then the development, how many units are on the 2.5?
We're looking at between 100 and 110 units. Will be 100% workforce and affordable.
And so that will be the property, their rental or their owners, like townhouses or condo, I guess?
Rentals.
All be
that
rentals.
particular property will be rentals.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so the project will be co-owned by the city and the church, or how does
No,
that?
the church will remain full ownership, but the public benefit that we're offering the city for developing a vacant piece of land is to build workforce affordable housing on it.
And so how's the city of Delray supporting? They're financing it through you and allowing a tax exemption on the financing? Is that how?
Well, this particular project is a privately owned property.
Okay.
It just happens to be inside the CRA boundaries, so there are incentives that we will tap the CRA for. But also, that what was special about that property is that the CRA leases parking from that particular area or that location. So we're going to increase the amount, because parking is a substantial issue in Delray Beach.
Right.
We're going to increase the number of parking spaces on that property and enter into a partnership with the CRA.
Is there a parcel in the area that you looked at in Lake Worth, or you just saw this community as an opportunity?
Several, because there were, after speaking with the mayor, there are a lot of properties that are not contingent. And so she was saying this would be a great way to kind of pool those individual lots under one package, and bring the resources to develop those lots.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, how long UHGI? You said you're the founder. So how
Yes.
long have you been? When did you stand this organization up? And
The organization was formed in 2015, the year I graduated from Florida Atlantic.
Oh.
I was well ahead of the opportunity zone market language and the public-private partnership language. When I was speaking about this in 2015,
Okay.
everybody was like, what's a public-private partnership?
Right.
So, but I knew it was something, following how our infrastructure was a need throughout the nation, I knew there were going to be substantial federal resources coming from that particular market. Growing up in Palm Beach County, I also witnessed how the transformation of West Palm Beach was like a template, right, to show how you can take a blighted area and redevelop it and make it into a predominant producing city. But I also saw that there was a lot of displacement for that particular model. And I've always living in communities, minority communities, that has been the biggest fear for development. People are afraid of being pushed out. And so I wanted to create something that showed how it showed how involving or incorporating those residents as the investors or people in the community investing in developing their community, it's more socially accepted and received, opposed to being worried about development and being pushed out. So this organization, it was, like I said, I was ahead of my time, but I wanted to position myself that way so when the time did come, I would have a track record of being around in the community and encouraging people to take this option, the residents and the community and the representatives, to take this option along with some of the traditional options that are available.
Thank you. I know affordable housing is important to everybody up here and definitely to the city at large and the commission. So, hopefully, I guess we can find opportunities to work together in the future. And good luck in Delray Beach. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so now we're on to the action agenda. So this is item 7A, the commercial facade grant for 1215 North Dixie Highway. B is 1217 North Dixie Highway. Do they just kind of go together, or?
Yeah.
So Chris, you want to?
Yes.
Thank you.
For the record, Chris DeBrose, Lake Worth CRA. And yeah, these two items on the agenda, A and B, are really part of one redevelopment project, so we're going to handle it all as one, but we're probably going to need some multiple motions, if you guys so choose.
It's a big test for me tonight, Chris.
If I lose you,
Confident
stop
so
me,
far.
right? So this item is for our facade and tenant improvement grants for the properties at 1209, 1215, and 1217 North Dixie Highway. Earlier this year, Mr. Rico Baca and his business partner, Wade Terwilliger, purchased these 3 parcels, hoping to move their business, Palm Beach Modern Auctions, from West Palm to Lake Worth to expand and to expand the business and to get more traction for the business. The auction house specializes in jewelry, antiques, artwork, and so on. So I'll handle the first one, which is going to be 1209, or we'll discuss the first one, which is 1209, 1215 North Dixie. 1209 is a parking lot. Currently a parking lot. It's going to remain a parking lot. However, it's going to be improved. And 1215, which is a separate parcel adjacent to it, is right now just consists of a small 600 square foot building, which is going to be renovated. That's going to be renovated, a new facade, and an addition is going to be put on it. About a 2,000 square foot addition, consisting mostly of office space. That addition is going to be connected to the building at 1217 North Dixie Highway, which is a larger 5,000 square foot building. At 1217, there's another building on that lot, and a little parking lot. There's another building which is going to be smaller building, which is going to be the retail operations. However, the larger building is going to be their auction house. All in all, it's about 2/3 of an acre, all 3 parcels. Just trying to think. I told you the square footage of everything. So last month, the applicants applied for the maximum that they could apply for each parcel, which would be $25,000 for facade, $25,000 for tenant improvement. 4 grant applications total. They're requesting the maximum amount, which would be $50,000 for each parcel. So we reviewed, the staff reviewed the applications. Overall, this is going to be about $1 million renovation project and new construction project. Although they're requesting for the full funding amount, staff recommends to the board a comparable amount to other projects that we've built or that we're renovating in the area, specifically the Herb Jones project and the Florida Window and Door project, which are in the same neighborhood. We're recommending a reduced amount of $25,000 for one application and an additional $40,000 for the other parcel, which would be 1215, for a total of $65,000 for this one redevelopment project. And really the reasons for that, because of limited funds, and also gives us the ability to fund other upcoming projects and new businesses, grants that are going to be coming your way in the next couple months. So, 1217 North Dixie Highway, the staff is recommending $15,000 in matching funds from the commercial facade grant, recommending $10,000 from the interior, in matching funds from the interior improvement program for a total of $25,000. And then for the other applications, 1209, 1215, we're recommending $25,000 from the facade grant, $15,000 from the interior improvement grant, total of $40,000. So I know it's kind of all over the place with that, but the applicants are here to answer any questions, or if you have any questions of me.
Not gifts, you're talking about handouts with respect to, I would hold off on that.
So I think we'd like to hear from the applicants. I have one question beforehand, and that is, what is our maximum commercial facade and maximum interior improvement grant for a single property?
Per parcel, it's $25,000 for each grant, so a total for $50,000.
Okay.
So they were applying for, or are applying for $100,000 for this entire project.
Yeah, I didn't remember seeing a single project broken up into separate parcels on grants we've done before, and that's why, I take your input, with a high degree of, value, but I was just trying to picture in my head, for a single project, how much we usually do for those, so I think it's good that you...
Yeah, it depends on the size and scale of the project. So for the interior, or the public infrastructure grant program, which is one parcel, usually we offer up to $100,000, but that requires at least a $2 million investment to the city.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I think it'd be good if we got a presentation from the applicants, so if you guys want to come up and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Rico Baca. I'm one of the owners, and I'm the auctioneer at Palm Beach Modern Auctions. My partner, Wade Twilliger, is here, as well as Carrie, who is the executive assistant with us. She also has a handout, if we could give you guys the handout now.
Well, I saw bags sitting there, so I wasn't sure if they were documents that they need to review, they request, or if they're actual...
It's actually just promotional presentation part of the presentation.
I think it's okay if we see them. If you deem them to be so valuable as to be a gift, we don't have to keep them.
Oh no, you can give them back to her. You can give them back to her. Yeah. We started the auction house we started business in 2003, and we moved to our current location in 2010, I believe. We've been in business, like I said, since 2003, and we purchased this property about 3 or 4 months ago, and we sold our house in West Palm, and we moved to Lake Worth Beach about 2 years ago. So we're residents. We believe in the community, and I think Chris did a good explanation of what we're going to do with the property, and we're anxious to move forward with it. And we would certainly appreciate any help in doing the project. And did you have any questions?
Yeah, let's see. You guys have a question?
When do you expect to finish, start your building and, renovations? Do you have a timeline?
We do, and the timeline is April, which, see, everybody at the city does that when I say that. Now, everybody says that, but, when it's your project and you push for what it is that you want, and I believe you just ask for what you want, and that's what I'm asking for because our lease is up and we have to negotiate additional time there. I'd rather not do that. But we have other options because our season ends in June, basically. We do our auctions between November and June. So we will probably have our last auction in April in this location that we're currently in. So we'll have some flexibility, but I'm still pushing for an April. We have, the city has given us a demo permit already. We're working with the contractor. Permits should come in the second week at the latest, I'm told, the second week of January. And we're in the process right now of getting numbers back from the contractor so that we can pre-order our windows and doors and have all that kind of stuff ready so that once we do get our permits, I'll be on the phone calling the contractors and the subcontractors and the, So yes, it's a very ambitious timeline, and we'll see how close I get to it.
I guess this is more in the nature of a comment, but I think it's a really cool project, and I'm all about quality construction on Dixie. So.
Thank you. We're excited about it. We like the location, and I think we have something to bring to the community as far as not only rehabbing the project, but I think that we can, bring some good publicity to the city. And, Yeah, so I have another appointment that I have to go to at 7 o'clock. And so Wade has some prepared stuff that he's going to come up and talk about. We'll sort of.
It's okay, we're all ad hoc.
But thank you for considering our proposal.
I hope.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for inviting us to be here tonight. I'm the introvert part of the business, so I made sure to get an extrovert. But I am the president, and it requires. Oh, Wade Terwilliger is my name, president of, it's actually Objects, Furnishings, and Decorative Arts, in case you're confused. And then our DBA is Palm Beach Modern Auctions, and Objects 20C is our gallery, just so you know. Both will be at these on these 3 parcels. So one of the things is, they should calm me down as being surrounded by art, because about 75% of our auction is art. So on a 500 lot auction, 350 items are prints or original paintings. To date, our highest sale has been a San Francisco at $500,000, which we were very excited about. So when we moved to Lake Worth, when we sold our house, we were just thinking of just renting for a little while, and then luckily we fell in love because it's our kind of community. It has kind of a bohemian flair. We've always eaten down here, but never lived, and we got to know neighbors, and they're very friendly, and they seem to like to walk Gulf View, so I meet many of them. Anyway, we were having trouble finding in West Palm, and so we found this location. And although some people said this couldn't be a difficult process, that has not been our experience. Our experience has been that the team that we've been working with at Planning and Zoning has tried their best to explain the process and be very helpful for us. So we're very excited, and we're upbeat about this. One of the things I think we bring is all that publicity we got, and we did Studio 54, which went worldwide, but especially New York and, of course, the United States. So we were in the New York Times, the New York Post, AP covered us, and just about every, Vogue magazine, everything. Each one of those articles, or almost all of them, said, it will be held in West Palm Beach. I'm looking forward because I'm getting kind of tired of driving down Dixie to go to our office and seeing what I have to look at. And I'm sure you all are too. You've been doing this a lot longer than I am. I'm looking forward to seeing that get developed, so when I wake up in the morning and go to work, I'm going to see a nice project there. Anyway, in the future, I hope it says Lake Worth. Mm-hmm. So Vogue and New York Times. Oh, we also had like the James Jean jacket, which went worldwide. And in fact, the articles were in languages I had never seen. I mean, it's incredible what happens. My degree's in marketing, but sometimes in marketing you never even get. You can spend a whole lifetime trying to promote a company and never get anything out. We were so blessed and so lucky. Many times this has happened to us. We also flew to Italy, and Rico went into a basement, and we found Karl Lagerfeld drawings, which we brought back, and those went worldwide. All the fashion magazines picked it up. We just had it's the last of that estate auction, which sold at many multiples of the original sale. The point is, Lake Worth, we want to be our home, both to live and to work. We have a really great staff, like Carrie here, who keeps us organized and probably knows more than I do. Yes, sorry. Lake Worth Beach. My apologies. It's even on my paper, say Lake Worth Beach. In terms of, I was trying to think like things you guys want to hear about. One was, I know there's an art connection or a cultural collection. Most of our big sales are related to culture, by the way. Studio 54, they had my degree's in marketing, but also economics. It had no inherent value to it. These were press photos from Studio 54. Nonetheless, we had people fly in from all over. We had artists come in who were part of that group. It was probably the most exciting sale, and to this day we still get a little teary-eyed because it was so much fun. And so I think one, if that's part of your focus, is we're bringing that. This place is going to look spectacular. In order to sell a $500,000 piece of art, no one's going to give it to you with a check. He drives a nice car, I do not, but that's because our clients want to see a nice car. He also dresses very nice. It's all part of it. So what this place looks like is part of our whole brand. We have to look successful. And although we're small, we are really dynamic. There's only a group of 7 of us, including Rico and I, so it's all done. We're producing probably 3 major auctions of about 500 units. And then several small ones. They're called boutique auctions. They're under 200 units, generally with a central theme to it. So Karl Lagerfeld was a central theme. That was by itself. The Studio 54 was incorporated into another big auction. So I think you all offer us a lot. That's why we're here, and we're excited. And I think we offer a lot too. And we want to be, when we were looking for a place, I want to change also, because it doesn't help us any in our real estate purchase or our commercial purchase to say, oh, it's too hard to work with this community. It is not too hard. That has not been our experience, and I'm not just saying it. We also found when we worked with West Palm, people said, oh, it's going to be so tough. I thought they were very fair, and they protected us. So I don't know whether you have specific questions, but I'm more than happy to answer.
Does anyone have questions for Mr. Terwilliger?
Wade is perfect.
Wade. Okay.
Yeah.
For Wade?
Yeah. Thank you. I can't believe you got Twilliger right.
I know I've driven by the location, Bunker, I guess it is, several times when you guys have an auction, and it's incredible. I mean, that is not, in my mind, as attractive as what this could be.
This will be
Dixie.
much more.
And you draw what looks like a terrific clientele and a difficult place to park and organize folks. So I think this, from my perspective, this is wonderful for the city.
Great.
And I hope that it's great for you guys, and welcome to the city of Lake
Thank you.
Beach.
You feel very welcome.
So
We always have valet, by the way. We're one of the few. We have clients who come in and say, I deal with Sotheby's, you treat us better than they do. Well, of course we do. We're a boutique auction house, and we've had to work our entire lives. I didn't come from money. We are not a national organization. It is Rico and I who own it. To buy the building, the bank kept delaying, and we said, that's it. We're sitting at a temporary dining table at the moment because I went through the house and took everything we could sell from our gallery, and that's how I'm being honest, this is how we purchased the property. It'll be all right in the end, but I didn't want to wait and lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're in this with all our hearts and every dime we have.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned. We had a stellar year, even with COVID. And in fact, I think in my original proposal, I said we would not be hiring, when in fact, I think we'll probably add 2 more to the staff. One being a concierge person, because we have a person that is going to go more part-time, and then the other is either a shipping or a gallery director. So we'll do a little hiring, not a much there. But we bring the people in. Most auction companies have maybe 30 to 40 people. We have 100 to 120, in part because we make it entertaining. I mean, we've had drag queens, and for Studio 54, we had them on roller skates going through, and you know, we're creative. We've got to work harder than Sotheby's and Christie's and Phillips, but we do compete with them. Just so you know, we've sold many things that Sotheby's could not sell, or we got it from them, including the San Francis. So we're highly competitive, and we're ready to go.
Thank you so much. So I think from the way I interpret what Chris described, we need 2 motions, one for each item, A and B.
Let's start with 1209, 1215.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait. So I guess we need a motion for 1209, 1215. The recommendation from the city is $40,000 total, $25,000 for the facade, and $15,000 for the interior. So we need a motion if we want to go with that recommendation, or if we want to propose something else.
David, is that a 2-part to each grant program?
Is each grant, so do we need 2 motions per?
There's going to be 4 separate agreements, so you might as well do.
So first, let's
separate.
discuss, thank you, Leah. It's good to have attorneys on the board.
Sometimes.
So first motion, the commercial facade grant, which was recommended by staff of $25,000. We'll start with that motion.
I'll move to approve that we award funding to the redevelopment projects at 1209, 1215 North Dixie Highway in the amount of $25,000 in matching funds from the commercial facade grant program.
Okay,
Second.
second, so we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Public comment.
Oh, sorry. Man, I was hoping I wouldn't do that. So we're gonna have to do this each time. So any public comment on the motion by the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I feel intimidated knowing there's an auctioneer in the room. Okay, so we need a motion on the $15,000 interior grant for the 1209, 1215.
I'll move to award funding in the redevelopment projects at 1209, 1215 North Dixie Highway in the amount of $15,000 in matching funds from the Interior Improvement Grant Program.
Thank you, Leah. Second? Second from Carla. Public comment? Mayor Betty Resch with the public comment. No, please. You're a member of the public, last I checked.
Hi, Betty Resch, Mayor of Lake Worth. I just want to welcome you to our city. My goodness, this is some of the most exciting news I've heard in a really long time. I've lived here a long time. That corner has been a dead zone for a long time. So thank you for putting your money in our city, and welcome, and anything we can do, we will. Thank you very much.
See if the mayor did it.
Sarah Malaga was here with me tonight. We're very interested in all of these. Thank you very much.
Okay, so any other public comment? No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now we need a motion for the 1217 parcel for the
Is Chris back
commercial
up for-
facade grant. Oh,
Same, yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. So it's, the recommendation is 15,000 for facade, 10,000 unless, for interior, unless you choose different.
And I would be happy to move that we award funding to the redevelopment projects at 1217 North Dixie Highway in the amount of $15,000 in matching funds from the commercial facade grant program.
we have a second?
Second.
And we get a second. Public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and the final motion is for the 1217 for the interior grant.
Shall I round it out?
You're on a roll.
I'll move to award funding to the redevelopment projects at 1217 North Dixie Highway in the amount of $10,000 in matching funds from the Interior Improvement Grant Program.
A second?
A second.
Second from Carla. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I feel like I should say sold to the
Dang a gavel.
man in the Tide and Rico and Wade. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Sincerely appreciate it. Oh, we're so excited. Hopefully, Mr. Tolsis will allow us to keep this promotional material.
We are
Is that
sticklers
okay?
here.
Is that okay? This looks awesome. It really does. Thank you so much. Okay. So, back to the agenda. This is item C. So you guys are welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to leave. So feel free. Yes, please do. Please do. Focus on this exciting project. We're excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so item C, inhabit redesign. Chris, do you want to set this up, or do we want to go?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So at our last meeting, Mr. Tim Carey came and was going to give us some drawings on the multi-site project here on Lake and Lucerne, which it's a combination of NSP and CRA lots. And he is back tonight with hopefully some site plans and some designs and some floor plans for you to review and approve.
Wonderful, thank you. Tim, would you like to? Thank you.
For the record, Tim Carey for Inhabit Property Group. I've got handouts if anyone would like one, just of what we're discussing so you can follow along. I know you'll want one. Anyone else? We good? Ramsey, you good? Yeah. Okay, just making sure. So last time, just to review real quick, we discussed the fact that late last year we had site plan approval for 42 units, 5 of which were townhomes, 38 of which were predominantly 1-1s. There was a sustainable bonus used, and it increased the height, intensity, and density. And then the pandemic hit, and as you guys all know, we kind of recognized that it was a great opportunity to hit the pause button and go back to the drawing board. And when we did that, we really tried to examine where there was a need in Lake Worth and what was best for Lake Worth. And with my partner, Nestor, who I've mentioned here before, we kind of went back and we used as a test case some of the units we use out west in Lake Worth corridor. They're larger townhomes, 2 1.5s, 1,230 square feet with ample space indoors, as you can tell by that 1,230 square footage, and then the outdoor space. So what I've done tonight, I just want to kind of update you guys on what we've been doing over the past month. Obviously, as you can see in front of you, we've got floor plans, we've got elevations, and we've got a site plan. But before I touch on any of that stuff, which I'm excited to get to that, I do want to mention to you guys that I came here last month and promised you guys that I would talk to the mayor, that I would talk to the neighborhood associations, and as I always try to be, I was good to my word. So the mayor and I spoke about predominantly the Perch, which is our other project, but we wove in Village Flats, which makes sense because it's about a half block away and it all kind of weaves together at some point. I think, I'm not stepping out on a branch here, that I believe we have her support on some of these projects. Sarah Maluga was also, she's a city commissioner, she's here tonight. She was also at one of the neighborhood association meetings, and I also met with Ramsey. Ramsey heads the Royal Poinciana meeting. Ramsey's here tonight. I'm very appreciative because we have her full support, and I'm actually going to present tomorrow night to the Royal Poinciana board. So on the today's the 14th, the 15th. I also met with the Tropical Ridge Neighborhood Association. City Commissioner McVoy was there, so was Herman Robinson, and as I mentioned, Sarah was there as well. That was also, I felt like, a very positive meeting. Answered all questions. I actually came away with 3 to 4 great ideas, which we're definitely going to incorporate. Some of which include 14 to 15 volt adapters so that people can charge the electric cars in the garage. It's a pretty simple fix, and we think it'd be really valuable, especially long term here in Lake Worth. Simple stuff like trees in the backyard providing shade. Nestor and I know that full well, having owned, again, those units as our test case. Big reason why those backyards get so much use all throughout the year, even throughout the summer when it's blazing hot, they're all shaded. And when you have a shaded backyard, the temperature comes down a lot. So obviously these are all great ideas, and that's why it's such a privilege really to go and meet with these neighborhood associations, because people have great ideas and we want to make sure that we're getting everyone's input. I feel comfortable saying that I think we've got strong input and strong feedback here, and a fair amount of approval. Ray Lofton heads up the Tropical Ridge Association. He didn't feel that it was his position as president to endorse something, but he did wish us well as we go for approval, and wished us well towards success, towards the approval of this project. So with all that said, that's what we've been doing in the past month, along with getting into the floor plans. I think we have buy-in from a number of people, and we're excited about that. But let's dive into these plans here, and we're going to start at the 1,000-foot level. And for maybe the first time in a while, we can see the lots that were involved here. Obviously, they're fairly odd-shaped lots, and they're also not contiguous, which makes them a challenge to develop because you're really developing 3 separate sites. As we talked about, we went back to the drawing board. We're no longer using the sustainable bonus, and in fact, we'll apply 3 different lots, and we'll be under where the units could be because the density here is much larger because it's along the Lake and Lucerne corridor. Nonetheless, I think our max number of units is 36, and we'll be at 28. That 28 number, though, is kind of malleable, and we'll get into that in a minute why. But it could be lower depending on how we count them, but I'll explain that as we go along. But as you can see, these are all townhomes. As you guys have kind of been aware of for a while, or at least the past month, they're all very large. Let's just flip to the next page here, and you'll get a sense of what the horseshoe-shaped lot looks like. Some of the big features that we've talked about before, the detached garages, which provide backyard space, and then the units to the north, which would be on Lucerne, are the 3-story units, which provide the live-work space, which we spoke about last time. But I wanted to give a sense of, really what this gives a sense of is how the horseshoe-shaped lot is kind of tricky to develop, as we talked about last time when we had predominantly the 1-1s. Because of the easement that runs through with both electric and sewer, it's not easy to develop. But again, I mentioned it several times last time, what seems to ail us are the townhomes, and it's a great fit on this horseshoe-shaped property. If we can dive into the floor plans that we've got here, I think we've highlighted some stuff before, but again, I'll just touch on it very quickly. If you start on the first floor plan, some of these have to be live-work units, as we discussed. If you were a solo practitioner, or if you were a masseuse, as we've discussed before, you've got a decent-sized office there, a full bath, and a large storage closet, all of which is kind of imperative for an entrepreneur who's trying to start a business out there on Lucerne. So that space is fairly large. If it's not going to be used in that fashion, of course we know it could be any number of different things, a playroom, storage, you name it, any kind of family would be able to use that, a bedroom perhaps, anything. They could use that to their advantage. Moving up to the second floor, lots of ample space. Again, the biggest thing that we've seen in our test case out in the Lake Worth corridor is space, especially in Florida where you don't have a basement. And for these townhomes, folks, have kids, 3 or 4 kids, and yet they don't have space for a playroom or something where the kids can be in one room and the parents can be in another. And that's what we're trying to design here. You can see the great room is fairly large. The dining room divides it up nicely with a half bath on that floor. We don't want people to have to go upstairs or downstairs for a bathroom when they're on the main floor. If you trek up to the third floor, again, you'll notice that there are 2 balconies, so we're trying to provide outdoor space where we can. The master suite is really quite nice in terms of size. Also another bathroom as we join bedrooms 2 and 3 right next to each other. The thing we were trying to avoid is Jack and Jill bathrooms. Typically with Jack and Jill bathrooms, they're easy to design and implement, and that was actually one of the original designs here. They're terrible for noise though. So when you have that bathroom dividing up those bedrooms, let's say you've got a 2-year-old in one bedroom who's trying to nap, and then a 5-year-old, like I've got in another bedroom, you kind of have to tell the 5-year-old that bedroom's off limits because the sound travels so easily through that Jack and Jill. So we purposely divvied up the square footage on the third floor in this manner. Again, if you look at the lower right-hand corner, you can see that the total living area is just under 2,000 square feet. So these are large units, larger than most of what you'd see here in Lake Worth even, where we're seeing 3-2 townhomes go for 1,500 square feet. So we're providing as much space as we can, and we're doing it on 3 floors, but we're trying to provide a diversification of units here. And I think we've done that. If you flip to the next page, we're going to get into that. So just, again, if we're looking at it from 1,000 square feet and you're thinking of that site plan again, the number of units I've mentioned, it could be high as 28. It really just comes up to this studio space, which you'll notice on the upper left-hand corner, you've got a 2-car garage, but just above that, you've got a studio. It's really up in the air, and we're willing to talk to anyone who would like to provide feedback. If that's a separate rental, and suddenly you've got studios, 3 2s and 4 3s, then the unit count gets up to 28. If, on the other hand, we want to keep the studio space as just something that's contained within this 3-2, and it's just a separate playroom or a game room, whatever you want to call it, then the number count goes back down, and we go somewhere between 17 and 19. That still has to be hammered out. But either way, it doesn't really matter because we're way under the threshold of 36 units in this area. But on the alternative, what we've really tried to do is provide a diversification of units so that many, many types of people who want to stay in Lake Worth and rent in Lake Worth, despite the high rental prices, can find something within this project that fits their budget. So you can see in the studio space, we've tried to provide as much as we can. You've got a small galley kitchen. You've got a lot of ample closet space, despite the square footage of the studio space, which you'll notice in the lower right-hand corner is 405. Full bathroom, and then your studio space outside of there. The stairway, as you can see, is an exterior staircase that goes from the ground floor of the garage up to the studio space. But if we trek back down to the first floor, you'll notice the courtyard, which will provide ample green space. Again, from our experience, that can be used as a nice entertainment area for adults, or provided there's shade, a nice little playroom. I know it sounds crazy, but that's the way the kids use it, with slides, swings, and anything else you can imagine. We're trying to provide then a lot of space that allows a transition into the home. So if you'll notice, people walk in and we're treating that space like a mudroom, which you'll see in any home with a family likes to have that mudroom because it allows kids and everyone else to transition through the home rather than just coming into your kitchen and dumping everything. Obviously, it also kind of contains mess and clutter. So we've got a mudroom here along with laundry, and then the nice thing is we've got our bathroom, our half bath right there on the first floor, so that again, you're dining, you're having people over. If they don't need to trek up to the second floor, they can go right over to the half bath on the first floor. Kitchen and dining room, also good size, more storage underneath the stairs, and then as you trek up to the second floor, you'll notice again, large owner's suite, walk-in closet for the owner's suite, and a bathroom that is not Jack and Jill. If we just step out then, we'll get even kind of closer from what the units will look like. The front elevation, I mentioned last time, and it seemed like it struck a nerve in a positive way, that we're trying to go for kind of a bohemian modern style. And I think we're getting closer. If I have to be honest, this is just a front elevation, so a rendering will do us more good. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a rendering to Joan by Friday, despite my efforts. Renderings these days are expensive and just way backlogged. But nonetheless, all of this will be provided. We're getting closer with this elevation. I don't think it's quite there yet. It has the outriggers I like. It has the metal roofs that I like, and I like the metal railings on the balcony, although those can be styled up as well. But you get the general sense of where we're headed, and we're headed in the right direction, and I really believe that. If you then turn over the page, we can go up to the the 3-story, and again, that kind of gives you a larger sense of where we're headed. I think, and I've spoken to Ramsey and I've spoken to other Tropical Ridge Neighborhood Association. I think if you hear those people, they tend to say, I could be wrong, but the feedback I'm receiving is that they appreciate that architectural style and that it fits in more with Lake Worth. One of the key comments that I actually heard and I really appreciated was from Ramsey actually, and we're not trying to kind of shoot down anyone's architectural style, but a lot of times when you see modern around here or anywhere else, they're just white sugar cubes. And she's not wrong, because what they do is they just have a white box and they stick some metal on it and they call it modern. That's the last thing we want to do. Nestor and I are pretty passionate about Lake Worth, as you know. We've talked about that chapter and verse. We're not going anywhere. We've been here a long time. We're walking up and down the sidewalk here. If you have a question, as Ramsey knows, or as anyone at the Tropical Ridge Neighborhood Association knows, I hand out my email and my cell. Feel free to give me a call. But we want something that's going to last. The last time I was here, I talked about hopefully we'll design something that lasts 60, 70 years, or maybe even get some kind of historical designation. That's the goal. The goal is not to devise something that is cheap and easy to produce and you can just slap a name tag on it. We're not trying to do that. I'm not sure this is quite where we're at, but as I talked about with the mayor last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, this is all a process. Whether you're writing or whether you're creating art, it's really not in the first draft that you get anything, it's all in the editing. And right now we're in that editing process and we're getting closer and closer, but we're diligent about it and we think we're getting close. So with that in mind, I'll take any questions you guys have.
Do we have any questions from the panel for Tim? I'm curious about the studio over the garage space. So you were describing it's between 17 and 19 or 28 units, depending on the count or how you count them. Does it have to be defined as part of your approvals process that is? If someone buys it, can't they rent it?
Well, here's what we're going to do, and I mentioned this to everyone. We're going to go out and get rental licenses for everything, because what we don't want to do is not have rental licenses and then on the slide we would be renting them out as 2 separate units. Not that we would ever do that, but it's just not worth the hassle. So we're gonna go out and get 28 rental licenses.
Okay.
And we're gonna do that, obviously, just to make sure that we have everything in place 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever the case may be, just so that we're prepared. However, if it comes to fruition that people would like some kind of flexibility where the person in the 2-2 can rent that out or something like that, we're completely open to that. It's just a management issue that we think we can work around with. But in the interim, we're gonna get all the rental licenses we can, just because for the CRA's point, from Lake Worth's point, trust me, that's the easiest thing for everyone at this juncture. But that doesn't mean we're locking anyone into any kind of scenario.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, in my mind, I like the flexibility of it. And I mean, if you want to talk about affordability, if you were a single person trying to rent that single studio space, that's going to be one of the most affordable things in town. So I think that's really a positive. You know? Right. And the nice thing is, and again, Nestor and I, this is where it's kind of great when you have units all over, and when you've renovated this stuff, you have experiences and you learn from stuff. So we have had a unit or two where there's a detached space in the back, and what's interesting is people never see each other. And that could be positive, that could be negative. It depends on what the family or what the people want. But it can work. You'd be amazed where we talk to tenants and they say, I never see the person. I don't know, it's someone back there, and they have no idea. And that was 902, where there was 6 feet of separation between buildings. So you can imagine here we've got a courtyard and you've got a staircase where you just head out that back driveway and you kind of live your own life. So it can work that way, or maybe you grow a better neighborhood and everyone's friends and they all hang out in the courtyard. I have no idea, but many options are possible. So Joan, what is it that I know we tabled this last time to make sure we could get a chance to review the information Tim brought to us today. So is there a staff recommendation that we should be discussing? Or?
Yes, staff recommends the board approve the designs, site plans, whatever has been submitted, and also approve an amendment to the agreement which gives Tim and Nestor a little bit more time to finalize everything and get their permits, etc.
And so that amendment would extend our schedule? Is that
yes.
Okay. And one question about, he said, Tim said he's in the editing process, which I can appreciate. It's not intended that if he decides he wants to do some different type of decorative railing, or if in discussions with city.
I don't think that's our purview. I think that's completely up to the city to kind of.
Where does our line end so that he doesn't have to come see us again? You know what I mean? Like what?
Our line ends tonight.
Okay, so if he decides.
I mean, we'll certainly show you the final, and I like 99.9% positive you're all gonna like it.
Yeah, I don't want to stand in the way if suddenly somebody says, I really like sugar cubes with little metal on them.
No, that's not our place. No.
Right, okay.
Yeah, just as long as you accept the concept of it, I think that's good.
I just want to make sure that we're
to do,
all clear, and that Tim's clear that he doesn't have to come see us again if he doesn't give it me.
Right, and we've talked about the timeline before. The extension is probably needed, but as soon as we get this, it's go, go, go. And one of the big things we talked about, and I've spoken about with Ramsey and many others, is the benefit of townhomes is that the build time is about 9 months. Now, maybe that'll change, but I've mentioned before, and I've mentioned to all the neighborhood associations, that should mean we're wrapped up and people are occupying these spaces in early 2023, hopefully January of 2023. So it's a fast build time, and I've also mentioned to Ray Lofton and his group that we have no illusions that we're going to be like the project here that like just builds out the whole thing. But I think what everyone here in Lake Worth wants to be is part of something that just builds out this back half of the Lake Worth corridor, or actually it's going to be the front half as people come in. And we just want to be a small piece of that. And we think we can kind of be an integral piece along the corridor that really starts to brighten things up and really bring some more foot traffic here, which is what we're all after. And we think it would be a big part of that in our small way.
Thank you, Tim.
Sure.
So I think we need two motions, one for approval of the new design and site plan, and then one for, approval for or someone, it's the second amendment to the contract. So let's start with the new design and site plan. So can I get a motion for the?
I make a motion that we approve the new design and the new site plan for Village Project.
So we have a motion from Carla.
A second.
Second from Leah. Okay, public comment. Does any members of the public have any comments?
Let's rock and roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
would like to see this.
I just want to say I really appreciate that you reached out to the neighborhood associations. I know that neighborhood association.
I may have a minute. It was quite
Here,
refreshing.
can you, I'm sorry, so that we get the record correct. Just your name and address, please.
We need to know for sure.
James
in the
McLeod,
record.
24 South C Street, here is the president of the Royal Point Santa Neighborhood Association. And yes, we had a great meeting on the site plan. We walked the site. I loved his ideas. His concept is not only for family, but we have a lot of families here with children in high school who may go to Palm Beach State right down the road, who want to get their own jobs and have their own living space. I love the concept of the studio over the apartment. That is exactly a family scenario that would work, that kind of layout and design for home. It's the kind of thoughtful development that we're looking for the residents in this area of our city. And it's exciting to see the history that they have with their current rental units that they work. The feedback from their tenants is very positive, and they're long-term tenants. And that's what we want, is long-term investment in our area. And even if they're only paying rent, we know they're gonna stay because they're being taken care of by a dedicated landlord and not some of the other questionable landlords we have here throughout the city. So we're here to support and have them carry on. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Betty Resch. I also just want to say I really appreciate Tim and Nestor reaching out. We've met on the Circle, that project as well. And I do appreciate the fact that they are part of the community, will stay owning it, and have been so receptive to our ask about public input. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Okay. Seeing no more public comment, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so now we need an amendment for the approval of the
Approval for the amendment.
Sorry.
Make a motion that we approve the second amendment to the purchase and sale agreement for Village Flats.
Motion by Carla,
A second.
second by Leah. Public comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is
Thank you.
approved. Thank you so much, Tim. We
Sure,
really appreciate it.
Just one final comment. Brent, you're doing a bang-up job. I just want you to know that.
It's too late. If you wanted to suck up, it should have been before the vote. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for reaching out to the community, too. That's
Yes.
big. Okay, so. All right, so now we have the website, item D, under action item. Looks like Emily is going to fill us in.
For the record, Emily Thelmosakos, Lake Worth Beach, CRA. After review of our existing website, we feel that it's necessary to redesign the website, simplify content, better information, and also follow all of the requirements put forth by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Staff has met with 2 different governmental software firms, Granicus and Revise, and received 2 proposals. Both were included in your packet for review. We feel that Revise is probably the better company. Their services align better with what we're looking for, and their turnaround time is much more favorable. So this evening, we are looking for you to either we are looking for you to authorize staff to enter into an agreement for website redesign and hosting services in the amount of $10,130. Funds will be taken from our promotional activity line item.
Thank you, Emily.
Questions?
So do we have any
I
questions?
can't even
for
begin to
Emily?
ask questions about a website.
I will say that I've submitted some documents to government agencies that have to be up to the ADA standard, and it is pretty rigorous.
Yes.
So it can be costly, and I think, in my opinion, this isn't too bad of a number, although I haven't shopped for websites, but we've had to pay private companies to turn our Word documents into ADA PDFs, and it's not easy. So this is good, and I'm glad we're bringing it up because this is important to be in alignment with. So I guess no questions. We can.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Emily, do we have a timeline as to when they would have it up to ADA standards?
We are waiting on a service agreement for them if approved this evening, and I can probably give you a better timeline at our next meeting.
Okay.
I've used Granicus before and I had a good experience with them. But certainly, if you prefer the other program, we want to, I think, approve what would work best for you. But
We were really happy with Granicus. I mean, their stuff is amazing, and the searchability was fantastic. And the price really wasn't that bad, but what really got us was the ongoing price. It's like, so for like the first year it was like, I don't know, 25, 30 or something, and then the next year it was like 12. And so you had to keep paying for the software every year, which is a lot for a really small agency like us. So that's when actually Tom Lanahan from Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council said, we had the same issue and we use this company, and that's when Emily reached out to the smaller company.
Revise.
Yeah.
Cool. Good call. Okay, so we need a motion to give Emily the opportunity to enter agreement here with Revise, I guess?
Sure. I'll move to authorize CRA staff to enter into an agreement for website redesign and hosting services in the amount of $10,130 with Revise funding to come from the promotional activity line item.
Well worded.
I'm good at reading.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A second, okay. Public comment. Any website nerds? No, not a pejorative, just a comment. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we have a new website on the way. Last item on the action agenda, item E, property acquisition for 302 North C Street.
So I honestly thought that our last acquisition was going to be our last acquisition. However, it was like the perfect storm. So I heard from Commissioner Malega, and then I heard from Brett Taylor, and I heard from Zach from Anderson and Carr, all like in the same day, not at the same time, that there was a property for sale on C Street, and it is in very close proximity to the other, I think, 12 affordable units that we built in that area. It's actually adjacent to 5 homes that we did as a PUD in that area that were all built by Habitat. So 302 North C is available, and we did check with planning and zoning, and we were able to split the lot into 3 25 by 125 lots if we want to. If you wanted to just do 2, we could also do that, but I think in order to get most bang for our buck, we should do all 3 of them. We've already talked to Habitat for Humanity, and they are willing to take these 3 lots, develop homes. They're also going after 2 other homes in the immediate area that they're going to use their NSP funds from, because they still have some left over. So between that and then the 4 we have with the Community Land Trust, that brings us up to what, 8, 9, something like that.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
I think we have our hands full for the next year or so in building these affordable homes. They will all be for sale homes. So we're offering kind of 2 different products in 2 different areas of the city. So I'm asking the board to please allow us to spend, hold on. How could I put that in there? I'm so sorry.
285.
Thank you.
It's the smallest font size.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. $9.99.
Yes, thank you. And there's also really good information in here from the Palm Beach Affordable Housing Coalition that has a lot of statistics on it about how much affordable housing is actually needed in the county. It's like 6,000 units a year. So we're doing our small part.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? So when you said the last one was the last one, is this the last one?
This is the last one, because I don't have any more money to move around.
Okay. Okay. Do we want to do a motion before public comment, or can we have our commissioner, Sarah Malega? Let's have Sarah Malega comment.
First, I want to apologize because, yes, when I did reach out to Joan, when I found out about this, she's like, oh my gosh, you're killing me. But at the same time, I want to say thank you for being vigilant, because affordable housing is something that we need to focus on. Affordable home ownership is even more important. We need to focus on building generational wealth in this city for years and years and years to come. And you guys are just doing your small part. Again, I'm here today because I was a first-time home buyer through the CRA, and I'm a city commissioner. So I want to thank you for being open and listening and jumping on the opportunities and not overpaying, and just really hearing the voice of the people saying we need new housing stock that's affordable. Because not everybody wants to buy a 1920s cottage that has to go and get, different windows and go before a historical board. A lot of people don't have that kind of money. So the fact that we're providing good, new, affordable housing opportunities for families to move into, I'm excited, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening and being proactive.
Thank you, Commissioner. I speak for only myself when I say if you find ways that you can put some more on Joan to get affordable housing, I'm okay with it. Yeah. I don't speak on behalf of Joan when I say that, but I speak on behalf of myself.
You got it.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Okay, so do we want to make a motion?
Sure.
You're just doing so well with our motions.
Yeah, I know. I'll move to approve the purchase of 302 North C, and as part of that, authorize staff to transfer funds from the neighborhood program's economic development line and operating to the capital projects budget, and authorize the chair, vice chair, and/or director to sign all needed documentation to effectuate the purchase.
Do we have a second to Leah's motion?
Second.
Second from Carla. Okay, public comment? No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. I think it's awesome. Okay. Action agenda is over. Didn't make too many mistakes. So executive director's report. Joan.
There's a few happenings coming up. Actually, this Thursday, we're hosting two things. We're hosting the holiday party for Arts United here in the gallery. And then outside, we're trying something a little bit new. It's called Street Beats, where we're partnering with Lula, the CRA, and the market. And we're going to have a small holiday market here with, I believe, some music. Am I right? Music? Music? Yes, thank you. Yeah. Music and food, and so it'll be a nice neighborhood and community event here this week. Also, we have a flyer here, which I thought something was really kind of unique and interesting. Looking forward to it. The opera is actually going to have an open house and an exhibition here in January, from January 5th to January 8th. I think that's going to be really interesting. They have 60-year history with photos, costumes, and props and more on display. So that's another free community event. And I am not going to pronounce the festival name because I will probably kill it. I'm going to try. Unidos. Somebody help me.
Unidos Crecemos
Fest. Okay, great.
Unidos Crecemos.
So, in an effort to promote even more diversity here, we're having that festival on Saturday, January 22nd. We'll be at Hatch and outside, I believe, from 3 to 10 o'clock. Music, workshops, art exhibitions, face painting for the kids, food, and a Lowe's, which is, I don't know, some kind of car thing.
Okay.
Come and see.
Yeah, come see what it is.
It's a mystery.
And then last but not least, I'm happy to report that 127 South F, which is one of our last NSP lots, is in for permit. And we are working with the Palm Beach Land Trust for that development. So probably within the next 6 to 9 months, we'll have a new affordable house down on South F Street for sale.
Terrific. Thank you, Joan. Okay.
Oh, wait, I have one more thing. I'm so sorry. So sorry. We did have a joint meeting scheduled with the City Commission for January 11th, and we have to postpone it because we have a couple board members who won't be in town. So I have 2 other dates to just kind of fly by you. One would be January 25th, which is the 4th Tuesday of January. And the other one that I thought maybe might work for everybody would be February 8th, which is our regular meeting scheduled, usually in February. So I'm trying to work around planning and zoning and the City Commission meetings as well. So you don't have to get back to me right now, but if you can get back to me and or Emily and just let us know if either of those dates work for you, that'd be wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait,
you said
January 25th?
Yeah, no.
That's our electric utility meeting.
Okay, cross that one off the schedule.
February 8th.
We got it.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
So is there still a meeting on January 11th?
We will have a CRA board meeting as long as I have a quorum.
And Joan,
Yes.
February 8th is Legislative Committee up in Tallahassee.
Oh,
Sorry.
man.
Okay, well, I asked for dates from Juan, and he's like, no, you give me dates. So I've tried.
Take care of Juan.
I've tried. We'll go back to the drawing board and find some new
It's
dates.
March, or whatever.
We'll email you all.
Yes. So, can we get a
I just
public
wanted to
comment
check
from?
these, I got the event.
Can you come to the podium, please, Ramsey? I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to find out,
For the Palm Beach Opera and the other festival, you've already got the poster out for the art walk. Are you gonna have subsequent posters out for those off your page that we can share?
Thank you, Emily.
I think we just put them up the other day.
okay,
And we did send it out to some of the bigger bloggers today, so you should see it.
Thank you, Joan.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe I guess we'll distribute possible dates for that joint meeting, because that's really important to have, but it's tough to get everybody's calendars.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, I think we're moving to board members' comments. So we'll start with Leah, because she
Sure.
just...
Apparently. So I guess I'm always blown away, Joan, at the number of projects that you all keep going at the same time with the step-size staff that you have. And so I'd like to thank you for keeping all of those balls in the air and adding new ones enthusiastically. I'm also very encouraged to see as much attendance at the meeting as we've had tonight. I think that's phenomenal. I love it when folks come out, and especially when they come out in support of projects that I also am finding easy to support. Otherwise, happy holidays, everybody, and thank you all for attending. Good to see you, and that's it for me.
I'm particularly pleased about the affordable housing initiative. You know, when we talk about generational wealth, we don't realize how important it really, really, really is. You know, and when we talk about being the first person in your family to go to college in this day and age, you know, that should be unheard of, but it's not. And one of the ways that we're able to do that is through projects like this. You know, so I'm pleased that the CRA is taking the initiative along with the commissioners to say this is something that we need and something we can agree on, and that we're all willing to move forth in lockstep to get it done. You know, that's very, very important for us. And so have a nice holiday.
Thank you, Carla. Do I go now? Okay, first off, thank you all for sitting through my attempt to run the meeting. Second, I think this was an awesome agenda because it had a really terrific support of a business that's coming into our community that, you know, from what I've seen, what they did at Bunker, which I don't think is nearly as nice of a facility as this is going to be, that's going to be a real catalyst on Dixie Highway, especially as Herf Jones is coming in. Like, I'm excited about things that change the way Dixie Highway looks. So I'm really excited about that. And then we have, you know, Tim and Nestor's project and affordable housing. I feel like we're hitting on a lot of the buttons that we try to do here. And so I'm really appreciative of all the work. I'll say on behalf of all the upcoming cultural activities, I had the pleasure of having lunch with Joan and one of the folks from the Cultural Council. I guess it was this past month, and they're doing a lot of stuff that they want to try to find ways to be even more present in the city, and I think that's exciting, and hopefully we can partner with them in the future, and so, you know, positive things, and happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for coming.
I don't have much, just happy holidays to everyone. Thank you all.
Terrific. All right, and with that, do I need to call for adjournment, or what, David?
I just want to say happy holidays to everybody. It's always great to be here in the city of Lake Worth Beach and to be associated with this organization. So
thank you, David.
And happy New Year too, since I won't see you there.
Right.
Yes,
All right.
now you can adjourn.
With that, let's adjourn the meeting.